Welcome to the second episode of the Frozen Biscuit. I'm Zach James, along with my co-host Noah Seuss. We did not expect to get that big of a reception from you guys, so thank you so much for watching that first video. You know, it's kind of surreal seeing that it went that fast, blew up that fast. So as we said yesterday, Dallas Stars, Columbus Blue Jackets. You know, we got
Let's get it started for day two.
Both repping the Dodgers. You already know.
Not a Dodger fan. This is a cool hat.
All right, let's start with Columbus.
Columbus has done big things this offseason by bringing in the catalyst, the main man, the all-star, Johnny Hockey.
Johnny Hockey was insane, especially on that Flames team when they made that postseason run last year. He's 28. He scored 40 goals, 75 assists. It's insane. 115 points, had a plus minus of 64.
That's insane.
Yeah, and if you're a Columbus fan, you are happy that he got brought in. You are ecstatic. Columbus did finish in 6th in the Metro behind the Islanders. So not a great season, especially in their past couple of seasons. They've been able to get to the playoffs. A little bit harder East, to be fair. But, you know, what do you think of that Johnny Hockey move?
Closer to home, really closer to home. He should have went to New Jersey and the Islanders. It's not great going to Columbus. Maybe that's a little bias in me saying come to the Islanders, but Columbus is not it. You will continue to lose in the first round, or you're not making the playoffs. It's not great for him. He should have stayed in Calgary or went to New Jersey or the Islanders. Thoughts on that?
You know, I think if he did stay in New Jersey, he would ended up being like a Devils, maybe an Islanders, especially seeing that they did have enough cap to bring him in. But I feel like he wanted to play along line A, which we'll get to later with his extension. But, you know, they made some moves. They are trying to win, especially get to that plateau, seeing that they've never, besides that amazing win against Tampa, they've never made it past the second round. So it'll be interesting to see this team. Like, what are your thoughts on what they have going into the next year?
They did win the play-in tournament against Toronto. Everyone forgets about that one, but they did win that.
Yes. So
how do you lose in the play-in tournament? Come on, you're playing Columbus. They were not even that good.
So some of the main producers last year for that Columbus team was Oliver Bjorkstrand, Jacob Voracek, Patty Laine, who got traded mid-season. Yep. Alex Werenski going to his first All-Star game. Zach Werenski, my bad, going to his first All-Star game.
And you have Voracek. Everyone is not talking about Voracek. I feel like they're going to trade him.
Yes.
At the deadline, I could see it.
Yeah, especially if they're not at that
point where they want to be.
Yeah. Voracek played 79 games. He had 6 goals, but 56 assists.
Man's dying up Patty Laine.
Yeah, led the team in points. Patty Laine had 26 goals and 30 assists.
Out for most of the season, he would have had at least, I think, 80 to 90 points if he played a full season.
Yes. A lot of people on this Columbus team did play close to a full season. Most of their top 6 and most of their bottom 6 played, 72 plus games, which is really helpful and consistency wise.
Nyquist played a full 82. He pulled a Zach Parise, but he's younger. And Voracek played 79.
Bergstrand played 80. Line
Voracek,
A is
56. He played the
well,
COVID year.
no, 56 during for the Blue Jackets. Was traded
Halfway through.
halfway through for Pierre-Luc Dubois.
He's doing great up there in Winnipeg. We'll talk about that in a further episode.
Yes.
But they are losing Max Domi. That's a loss for them. Going to Chicago. Could have gotten him back easily if they wanted to, I feel like.
Yeah. See,
But
well, not after they made the Johnny Hockey move and gave him an extension.
Max Domi.
Yes. Main moves that they haven't. They signed David Juracek for a 3-year entry level, but that's because he got, drafted. Nick Blackenberg signed a 2-year. Patty Laine re-signed a 4-year. Emil Bemstrom re-signed a 2-year. A lot of good quality pieces for that Columbus team. They're making progress over there, and it'll be exciting to see what they're going to do next season.
It's going to be exciting to see. You think Patty Laine is going to keep up those great numbers like he had in Winnipeg? 40. You think a 40-goal season's coming?
Maybe, especially with charting hockey in the fold, you never know. They could either one could score 40 and the other has them set up, or, you could have, an equal split. Like maybe they both score 30 this year.
We'll see. Johnny Gaudreau. What's your predictions for Johnny Gaudreau? He's losing his winger Kachuk. He's leaving Calgary in general. He doesn't have his buddy Sean Monahan with him. You think he's going to keep up those same numbers in Columbus?
Yes, seeing what they're being able to do there and keeping line A will definitely help. I think he'll have a little bit of a less as good season as he did last year, seeing that he went from a Calgary team, which made the second round, to a
struggling Blue Jackets
that was, not doing great for a period of time. But, seeing that Columbus went 37, 38, and 7, finishing 6th, they'll probably finish better than they were expected. Good depth all around. They can really make a push. I think Columbus fans do want to see either a close finish, maybe even get a wild card spot. I don't think this early that they try for a good
Cup. Going for the full.
Yeah, I don't think they would have tried it anyway, but trying to go make some noise, get in the first round, take a good team, a quality team, a couple of games, that would really help this young Columbus team.
The big loss for this Columbus team is Oliver Borkstrand. He's out the door. He's gone. So you have to rely on that first line with line A. Either you put Boone Jenner or Stanger up there with Gaudreau.
Yes, very helpful. The good thing that Columbus does have to go forward to them, they are a very, very young team.
Cole Stanger is only Boone Jenner is very old. And Voracek. Those are the 2 old guys on their team. Besides that, I see a lot of young names.
I see a lot of young names. Actually, surprisingly, only about 4 names were over 30. So very young, can develop into a great Stanley Cup winning organization, get those fans in Ohio their first cup. But yeah, really young, brought in some new faces so they can develop, put them in their AHL team. Like Cole Stillinger, 19, very young, very promising.
31 points in 79 games. You want to see a big improvement out of him next year, at least 50 points.
or Stillinger. He's young. He's 19.
He's 19, but you need to see always improvement from your guys every season.
That's true. You do want to see improvement. But Johnny Hockey's 28. You got
A fat amount of cash.
a good amount of cash. In fact,
Fat amount of cash. And with 115 points, that's going to help. The Blue
yes,
Jackets needed that goal scorer.
that's
Did they
true.
need it more than the Islanders did? I'm going to say no.
There is an arising issue, though.
Their
If you
defense
would-
sucks. Besides Orensky, their defense ain't it.
Yeah, their
I'm-
defense
And
minus,
Boquist. Boquist
Yes.
is good too. I like Boquist.
yeah, their defense minus Zach Werenski, not great. But another arising issue, they have too many contracts. They're on their roster. They have 25. They need 23. And Columbus is about $2 million over the cap.
It's time to say goodbye to Blue Jackets legend Boone Jenner. It's time to say goodbye. You've been here long enough. It's time to go. Or you give it.
Yes, contracts could be moved around. As we check where they are, they do have a couple of picks that they can use as well. They got a pick from Calgary, a pick from Winnipeg. But yeah, Johnny Hockey being paid almost $10 million a year for the next 7 years.
He
And
declined more to go to Columbus. Like the Flames were offering him like 10.5. The Devils were offering him 10.5. The Islanders were offering him 9. And he decided, hey, let's go to Columbus, Ohio, and let's get the cup. Which I don't see happening anytime soon. I think the contract they traded is Voracek. That contract is a steep price with $8 million. It's not a good contract. Or you trade Nyquist. That's also a bad contract. 1 more year left on that.
yes, I do see Nyquist end up going somewhere. Sure,
I feel like
he
the
is-
Devils. I don't know why. I just see the Devils.
you never know. Actually, I kind of see him going to Buffalo even.
And was Erica Branson on this team before this year?
Eric who?
Erica Branson.
Um,
I'm gonna say no. I don't think so. I think it was on the Islanders last year, if my memory. No, he
might
wasn't.
have been, but that
He's their defenseman that they signed. Erica Branson to Columbus. He will help out that decor.
yeah, and besides that, they are really young. Besides Eric Gabrantsov, Zach Werenski, and Vladislav Grikov.
And don't forget about the young defenseman.
They're 21,
Big
24, very young core.
He's the oldest defenseman in that decor. Is Eric Branson at age 30?
Yeah, that's insane to think about. Seeing they could, if they develop their prospects right, they could end up competing for a good number of years.
Let's talk about their goaltending. Merzlikins is gonna be their star. He will carry their team. But is Korpisalo a good backup for them?
I think so, but seeing that Merzlikins will end up playing most of those starts if he does go down. They're both 28, so very easy. But yeah, insane to think about. Something else I keep in mind, their average age on the team is 25.7 years old.
Ooh, that is young. That is very, very young. They have young players for days in Columbus.
Yes. So they even kept Korpisalo for just a short contract, a good 2 years.
A solid backup.
Staying for a number of years will help that roster greatly.
And Johnny Gaudreau has that no movement clause.
Yes.
Starting on July 1st, 2026.
And Zachary Werenski is also staying as long as Goudreau. It's insane to think that they have
They're
a
gonna
long longevity that they can have.
they're gonna build around those two and Line. Those are the three you build around. And there's Lincolns. Those are the four guys.
Yeah.
And everyone else gets out of here.
Yes, they can bring in
Voracek,
number of
gone.
names.
Nyquist, gone. Everyone else at the door. You all suck. You guys didn't make the playoffs last year, and you got to keep your first round picks. They have the Flames third, like you said, and the Jets fourth this year. This is a good draft. This is a good draft to tank this year because it's the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. This kid is going to be sick. We will talk about that in a further episode.
Yes, mock drafts 2023, even though it is August.
Oh, even though it's August, yes, we're gonna talk about that later.
Yep. Yeah, Cole Stillinger, Kent Johnson, both 19, both young. Igor Chinakov. I don't even know
Hard name.
Yeah, it's so hard to pronounce some of these names, but young team. I think that'll be the key factor in coming into this year. They're young. They're ready to, start building that they can become a Stanley Cup winning team.
If they do the rebuild right, like the Kings, they could be in the playoffs by not this season, next season.
Yes, I do see them not making it this season, but you never know. They could have an amazing year with Goudreau in the lineup. So yeah.
All right.
Some very interesting things to see though. You have a number of players on the IR. And you do have to pay a little bit of dead cap for Alexander Wettenberg. So that could be a reason why they are over the cap. They might need to shed a couple of players. You may have to shed Nyquist.
Or Voracek.
As a free agent next year.
Voracek that's a steep contract for Columbus. Voracek 2 years, $8 million. You do not want to pay that.
Yes, seeing that they are both 32, you may want to. Yes, but maybe if they keep them around, end up, somehow making the playoffs, and they could be proven wrong very easily.
Could pull a full 2019 Islanders. You don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
Johnny Gaudreau is gonna be turning 29 in a couple days, August 13th. So that's a quick note that that's his birthday. And he has a no movement clause starting July 1st, 2026. He will submit 10 teams on that date, and he either could go to those teams or stay in Columbus.
But yes, Goudreau staying for a long time. If I'm a Columbus fan, I'm really excited for what this team does. I wouldn't expect them to go
all the way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect them even to make the second round. I would, if they make the playoffs, it's first round exit.
Even if they do make the playoffs, that is ecstatic as a Columbus fan.
Yeah, because they haven't gotten do much rebuild. They literally 2019 swept Tampa. 2020, of course, they beat the Leafs. 2021, they missed the playoffs. In 2022, they missed the playoffs. So it's been what, two or 3 years since they made the playoffs.
Made the true playoffs.
It's been.
They did technically make the true playoffs, but
they lost in 5 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Anyone can't beat Tampa. All right. So what are your predictions for Columbus going into the season?
I think they're in the range of an 86 to a 92 point team, which is really good, especially seeing how this lineup is.
And how stacked the Metro is.
Yeah, especially seeing how stacked that Metro is. Bringing in Brad Larson. Just see where it goes. I wouldn't get your hopes up for a playoff spot, but if you do sneak in for a wild card, that's the best case scenario. This is like the Kings last year.
I see the Blue Jackets missing the playoffs by like 2 or 3 points. They're gonna have like an 88-point season, and the team in front of them is gonna have like a 92. I don't think we're gonna have the same metric that we had last year when every team, all the playoff teams, had 100 points. We're not seeing that again. That was incredible.
I think it's a good thing that they are going rebuild and building around a great piece like Goudreau and Line, having an amazing goaltender in Merzlikins who could be a Vezina candidate. Having that great defensive piece in Orensky, but you never know. We'll see how it goes.
We will see how it goes.
Yes.
But will they tank for Connor Bedard is the real question.
Yes.
We'll see in our 2023 mock draft.
Yeah, that might happen soon. It might happen in a couple of months. You never know.
Dogs say yes. Connor Bedard to the Blue Jackets.
Give us a comment if you want to see our mock draft.
Soon. In August. Oh, the dogs are back.
The dogs are
It's a different dog.
back. All right. We'll head to a break and then talk about the other team this episode, the Dallas Stars. What will they do? What have they done? See you in a couple of minutes.
And we're back. We're back from a little bathroom break. We're here to talk about the Dallas Stars. How do you think the Stars did this season?
I think they're really happy that they made the playoffs, seeing that the West was a tight race and beating Vegas put them over the hump.
That shootout win was so clutch.
Vegas could not win a shootout. We'll talk about that in a later episode as well. But I'm happy for the Stars. They were kind of the reason why the Kings made the playoffs anyways. So
thanks to the Stars.
They did finish 4th in a very competitive Central. First wildcard spot, went to 7 against the Flames. Honestly, probably could have won that series too. So if I were a Stars fan, I'm really happy with that season.
Yeah, that's a good season for them. How much do you think David Robertson's going to get paid after a great season?
Jason Robertson, insane season.
I think David Robertson. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts.
At 23, he scored 41 goals, had 78 assists, and had a plus-minus of 16. That is really good numbers, especially seeing where that Stars team didn't make any major moves. They did lose John Klingberg in the offseason.
Major piece for their defense. Ryan Suter is going to have a step up year if he's still on that team.
We will talk about that in a bit. But, seeing how Jason Robertson did, especially him being with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, I think, it'll be good for that Stars team.
It'll be great for that Stars team. Do you think after a struggling season for Jamie Benn, is he going to bounce back? Is he going to be that great player that we saw earlier in his career?
You never know. Especially with a rough season. And sure, he's a great star of that team.
He's getting up. His age is getting up there.
He is 33, so that might be rough too. But I think if he can, put in the work this offseason and making sure that Stars team doesn't fall apart, I think they'll be really good.
Do you think Tyler Seguin, after a struggling season, will come back to form and be the highest paid player on the Stars that he's supposed to be?
Maybe, especially, being paid almost $10 million. Both of them being paid almost $10 million. I feel like that should be an incentive. But I mean, really,
highest paid player is Joe Pavelski at 5.5.
Yes, we'll get to that in a sec. But I feel like Seguin can make a comeback, have a really good year. But I think the Stars need to help him out a little bit because they haven't really done much in the offseason. So if they add a good piece, and they have the money to do it. So if they add a good piece, I feel like they can be really good.
But they have this sign Jason Robertson.
Yes, which it puts a wrench in that plan.
I feel like that contract will be, let me think, 5 years, 5x7.
5x7 is an RFA, so I imagine that signing will come in a matter of days now.
Yeah.
But
After a 41 goal season.
I'm really excited to see what Pavelski is gonna do.
What a year from Joe Pavelski. 81 points. Man went off. He played a full season this year at his old age. Man's old. He is 38 years old, and he put up amazing numbers. He has had no movement clause too, somehow. At 38.
Yeah. Pavelski with the numbers that he had this year, I don't know, especially seeing that he's 38, getting up there in age, will do as well as he did this year. But you never know. He might have another amazing season, Stars make it back to the playoffs. I am a little worried about the overall, first of all, age, and second of all, depth in the roster, because besides that first line, I don't see that much offense.
And this is a big loss. Alexander Radulov, is he leaving?
I believe he did.
That's a big loss. Even though he struggled this season, he was amazing on Montreal and his first season in Dallas.
He did. Radulov signed with a European team.
Yep, he was great a couple years ago, but he has fallen down 22 points in 71 games. Not what he used to be.
Yeah, that's rough.
And the big piece is Michael Raffle, former Philadelphia Flyer. What a gritty fourth liner he is. Yeah, this team's depth is not it this year. But Ryan Suter did play 82. Jamie Benn did play 82. Seguin played 81. It's a consistent team. And Hintz, he's underrated on this team. 37 goals, 35 assists, and 72 points in 80 games. Amazing numbers. On his first team with some great scorers like Robertson and Seguin, he slips right in there. Maybe that's your first line right there. Hintz, Robertson, and Pavelski, and then you move Seguin and Ben down to the second.
Yes. I think you can move it around. That defense, besides Hintz, or no, never mind. My bad. That defense, I am a little worried.
Besides Miro, there is no one here.
Yeah.
Ryan Suter, how long does he have until he calls it quits? Him and Zach Parise are almost at the time where it's time to say, let's end this thing right now. Zach Parise's giving it one more go around. I think then he's done after that.
Yep.
But
sure,
Suter,
their defense, besides some other older pieces, are relatively young. But I'm not seeing big names. I'm not seeing heavy hitters. I'm really worried about
it's a soft defense. Very soft.
I would be very worried. So their average age is a little older. They are 28 basically on average age. And besides Heiskanen, and they lost Klingberg, which we'll get to in about 30 seconds, I'm not seeing good defensive depth.
It's more offensive.
Yes.
Like Suter is always going to be more offensive. Colin Miller is going to, you don't know what you're going to get from Colin Miller these days. Miro is Miro. He's going to be your number one god defenseman. He's going to lead the squad. And it's Miro.
Yes, even though Miro is 23, you are definitely looking at him
to be your future
and maybe
Norris Trophy winner.
Yes, and S.L. Lindell you are looking at those two to lead that defensive squad. Goaltending wise,
They
actually,
lost Braden Hope.
they lost Braden Hope to free agency, but
But they had the
Jake
killer.
Ottinger was playing really
No.
well, especially at the end of the season.
No, he's not. He's not it. The answer is Scott Wedgwood. He is it, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Wedgwood is going to lead this team to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Ottinger is the backup to Scott Wedgwood.
Ottinger is a restricted free agent after this season, so you either re-sign him.
Or you let Scott Wedgwood take the keys and bring the Stars home a cup. I'm just joking, guys. It's obviously Jake Ottinger is great. No disrespect towards Ottinger, but Scott Wedgwood, really? Is that your backup goalie answer right there? I'm going to say it's not. He struggled with the Devils. And every time he played the Islanders, the score was easily like 5-1. It was easy to win when he's in net.
Yes, and even with the departure of Hovey, they still have Anton Khudobin as a better leadership in net as well. He is on IR as we speak. But do you think the Stars try to make a move this offseason?
No. Because they have to sign Robertson. He's going to cost them most of their $10 million. They're going to have like $3 million left. Maybe you sign some depth pieces. You don't really know. There's a lot of good forwards still in the market. Maybe you sign someone like Phil Kessel. Maybe that's someone you sign for a veteran depth down the line.
That would be very expensive too.
Or you sign your boy and you pair the line with Louis Eriksson and Tyler Seguin. The trade comes together.
I don't know. Maybe you sign somebody like a Scott Harrington, who's cheap, pretty young. Ryan Murray is 28. People like that you could sign.
Or maybe you bring back Leo Komarov from the dead. Or Terry Filppula.
Yeah. Like, unlike the Blue Jackets who we talked about earlier, they didn't go out and make signings, and I think that's an issue.
I feel like they just chilled on free agency today.
And usually the Stars
are making moves out there.
Yeah.
They're going out there and signing some pieces to help their team out. They didn't do that this offseason. They kind of pulled the Islanders. They sat there, they were quiet, and didn't do anything. And they still have to sign their RFA, Jason Robertson. Beast, man.
Yeah.
But look at next year. Let's go a year ahead. You have to sign Pavelski. You have to sign Hintz. You have to sign a lot of guys on this team.
I don't see them re-signing Pavelski. He'll
bring him back. If he has a career year again, you bring him back.
Yeah, but maybe you bring him back for cheap and be able to pay for him. Let's say you pay Jason Robertson this year, you bring back Pavelski for cheap next year and are able to keep Jake Ottinger.
Do you think it's time to say goodbye to longtime Stars captain Jamie Benn?
If he doesn't produce, maybe. Because, and I know Stars fans are going to hate this, but if he's not producing and you're keeping around him for $10 million, I don't know.
And score 46 points. It doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. That's not your captain right there.
Yeah.
Same with Tyler Seguin. That's Islander numbers right there. 49 points in 81 games. That's something Barzell would do.
Yeah, and you really want better, seeing that, the fan base is Dallas. They want the best, the one tech team in Texas. They want the best of the best. So maybe you try, and maybe if one of them doesn't produce, you get rid of one. Maybe keep in Seguin because he's a little younger, or keep Ben because of that veteran leadership. You never know.
Klingberg will be a major loss for this defense.
Yes, let's get to Klingberg now. He left in free agency.
Signed a 1-year, a 1x7 with the Ducks. Big move for the Ducks. We'll talk about that when we get to the Ducks segment later on. We'll see what this defense, if this defense will be as steady. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no too, because Klingberg was a major piece, and the Ducks got him for a year. They're gonna be really good with him. He'll provide good veteran leadership. Stars are bringing in a new head coach as well in Peter DeBoer, so that would be a little rough to see
how
what
this
happens
new
there.
how the new system comes with this team.
Yeah, and we've
Be a
seen
brand new team. No, new year this year. I don't think it's gonna be the same.
yes.
They haven't done anything.
As a Stars fan, I would be a little concerned seeing how
I'll be a little nervous too, because you're just sitting there. You haven't done much.
Yeah, you need a good signing. You need to have Jim Nill make a good sign so they can maybe bring in a good piece, re-sign Robertson. You know, the biggest concern for me is just defense and paying those two players. But, if they are able to keep up with their goal scoring, I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs, but it'll be a rough journey.
It will be a rough journey ahead for those Dallas Stars. I'm going to say the Stars get that not the very final wild card spot, because I said the Kings are going to get that. The Stars will be the first wild card spot. They will have 102 points, 101, 102, 103, somewhere around there. And they will get to that last wild card spot, the first one.
I disagree.
But there's always a but here.
There is a but. All right.
The Winnipeg Jets, the very good Winnipeg Jets. The comeback season is on in Winnipeg.
Winnipeg Jets over the Stars. I see you. Okay.
I like the winner. There's two teams I love on the list, and I think I've made it very clear in these last two episodes. The Vancouver Canucks and the Winnipeg Jets. I love those teams.
Both of those teams, maybe the Jets more than the Canucks, but they're exciting. And, the Central's going to be rough, minus the Blackhawks. You got the Preds, you have the Avs, even though they lost some pieces, they're still going to be good.
Wild lost Fiala to the Kings, like we said last episode.
While the Blues could be really.
The Blues can. I feel like we'll talk about the Blues in a later episode. The Blues are going to be a fun episode to talk about, because the West is the Central is falling to pieces besides the Avalanche and the Predators.
Because everybody's scrambling, and it's like the
Wild they're scrambling, the Stars are scrambling. Will they? But the real question is, will the mighty Winnipeg Jets come to the occasion and sneak in to the playoff spot? You never know.
You never know. Maybe the Coyotes somehow do something.
Bring the cup to Glendale, baby.
Oh, another note on the defensive side. Like I said with the Kings, maybe you bring in from Arizona Jacob Churchin.
That would help a lot.
Young defenseman from Arizona. Great piece to have on that team.
It would help a lot to bring a guy like that in for the team.
So far, the two things that have come up twice are Jacob Churchin and the
Vancouver Canucks. Those are two topics that will come up every episode.
The Lightning, sure, they're $7 million over the cap, but Jacob Churchin.
Sure, they don't have money for it, but the Kings and Jacob Churchin will happen. It will happen every episode.
Yes, but about time we wrap this up.
It is about time.
Thank you so much for watching.
Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good things.
You guys are amazing. We're checking it as we're recording. We're up to 35 viewers.
and 13 subs as we speak.
That's insane. All right. So, what
So,
do we do next episode?
I'm going to say we leave the Metro for a minute. Let's leave the Metropolitan as it is for a minute. And let's head over to a team that we would love to talk about. The Ottawa Senators.
Yes, the Ottawa Senators.
And in the West,
how about Vegas? How about Vegas?
I was gonna say the Canucks.
We saved the Canucks for the Jets too. You never know. How about Ottawa and Vegas? That sound good?
All right. Yeah, we'll do Vegas. We'll do Vegas and the Senators next episode.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, of course. We'll get this video out as soon as we can.
And thanks for all the support on the last video.
Yes. Thank you guys. Love you. Bye.